Views expressed are those of the individuals and do not necessarily reflect those of their employers. Here we go, the first episode of the SPWLA. You guys ready? We need high energy.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Let's go! I'm the host of the PVE podcast, Troy Tittlemeyer, co-host Andy Anderson. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Robert Gales, thank you so much for taking the time. One, your contributions to the SPWLA, obviously this last year, but long before that, I want to jump in, kind of where does it begin? Your history as a geoscientist, what school did you go to? Where does this passion come from?
That'd be a long story. I actually started in the industry in 1979.
Wow.
So a long time ago. The passion actually came after I got here and found out how exciting it was. I'm not a geologist, I'm not a reservoir engineer. I have double degrees in math and physics.
Whoa.
From South Dakota State University, and got married in college, decided I need to go out and get a job, and the oil industry was going absolutely crazy.
Really?
And so I dived in, and I'm an inquisitive person by nature. Backstory, I worked with Andy numerous times over the years, and so wanted to learn everything. And so quickly started learning everything from the rock side, the geology side, the geophysics, the reservoir engineering side.
Yeah.
And over the years, then I had the opportunity to do all kinds of things. It's been fascinating. Started as a field engineer, working in the field.
On a wireline unit or what?
On a wireline unit, and people that are my vintage will remember we used panels and galvanometers to generate logs today. Today it's all done with computers, so it's dramatically different. But it was a lot of fun. The most important part I think that came out of it is being an engineer out there. You had to be able to learn to think. You had to be able to work to manage a team.
Yeah.
Because you're out there, you're responsible for everything,
right.
And you're counting on a client over here to deliver you quality data so that they can make decisions.
That's right.
So you dive right in like that, and then over the years, it was just one of the things. The application side really interested me. How you tie this data together and come up with different type of answers out of it. So I quickly got into sales. I got into operating geoscience centers. I worked in engineering on tool development, global BD, chief petrophysicist, a whole bunch of different things.
Now, your first job wasn't with Halliburton, was it?
No, my first job was with now SLB in 79.
Okay.
And like I said, so I've worked for a couple of other service companies.
Okay.
Ended up working for a small company, which was great. It was called BPB, then Reeves at the time. So they were the founders of oil industry small tools that came out. And so I did global business development for them, which was bought by Precision, which was bought by Weatherford. And so I was there, had a lot of fun. I was responsible for setting up their global geoscience team.
Jeez.
And then I worked on unconventional projects, which for them was everything from heavy oil, coal seam gas, shale oil, and anything else no one wanted. And so, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is where else do you get to go and work in projects all over the world?
Yeah.
And so you look at it over the 40-odd years I've been in this, I've actually had the fun of working on projects in over 50 countries.
Jeez.
So
unbelievable.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
But as a part of that, you know, the whole deal, why we're here, SPWLA, is I got involved in 1982.
Wow. So
And
79, you get in industry. 82, you're already
in
realizing
SPWLA.
SPWLA, what is this? I want to be a part of it.
It's the information exchange, the people you meet, the networking, you go along, you run into people here that I've known for.
Let's take a quick break from this show and talk about our sponsors. What if your data actually worked for you? Upstream Plus was built with over 16 years in oil and gas accounting, solving reporting breakdowns and reconnecting financial and field reality. Today, Upstream Plus is redefining what an LOS should be, a true decision command center for operators, non-operators, mineral and royalty owners. One place to protect assets, save time, sharpen decisions, and restore accountability down to the well level. Because in this industry, clarity isn't a luxury, it's power. Upstream Plus, see your operations clearly, decide with confidence.
As an operator, you know that geomechanics play a massive role in the difference between a successful frac and a wasted stage. But are you still relying on uncalibrated models? The energy transition truly means moving from guesswork to precision, from generic outcome to optimized economics. Integrity In Situ delivers the world's most advanced geomechanical data set using their InSight tool, subsurface acquisition platform, and is the first and only company capable of physically measuring stress and strain at differential pressures over 12,000 psi without injecting a drop of fluid in both vertical and horizontal boreholes. Capture real-time physical calibrations for your closure pressure and stress magnitude when you need it and where you need it. Unlock your fracs potential and increase production with less effort. Visit integrityinsitu.com and catch our latest technical deep dive with them on PBE Podcasts.
40 years, that
Wow.
you're in and out of conferences, presentations and things. And right away, early on when I was in Denver, I became the VP of technology for the local chapter there. So was involved right away of going out. And back then it was you called someone up or you sent a letter. Can you come and talk, and you're planning 3 months out at a talk, and today we send an email or hit them on LinkedIn and said, hey, can you come and do it? But it was fascinating because I got to meet a lot of people at research centers that don't exist anymore. Amoco, Aramco,
that's
Conoco,
right.
Phillips.
Early 80s, right? Early 80s.
Conoco at the time, and Phillips, both of them in Oklahoma. Yeah, so it was just, it was absolutely fascinating.
Let's focus on that research part just a minute, because I've heard this several times. I've met people from different parts of it, ARCO, and man, the list goes on, right? The super majors had this, what seemed like just such a wonderful opportunity of major funds going into research. They had research departments in these, and they were trying everything, just all the different ideas of different geophysical tools and techniques, just that must have been a wonderful time to work.
And so the industry still does a lot of that. They drive it, but I think it's a more focused approach on what fits their culture and what's important.
Okay.
And so where most companies had huge research centers in-house, you name all the majors, all the service companies, today they may have smaller ones and they focus on things in-house, but there's this tremendous amount of collaboration that is done with universities on things they're interested in to push things forward.
Got it.
And so it's not that we're not doing it, but the model that we're doing it today is dramatically different.
Yeah. Now, Andy, what's your thoughts on introducing him and what his contributions have been to the SPWLA from your opinion, your perspective? Robert begins.
Well, I've had the pleasure of working with Bob on several different occasions with several different companies now.
Wow.
So I've been quite fortunate. I'm definitely biased. I've had some great opportunities to work with Bob, and I'm thankful for that. I've been involved with Bob all the way back to service company days, and for me that was back with what was the Canadian Well Logging Society at that point in time, when you had petrophysicists getting together with geologists and geophysicists for the geo conventions that we used to host, and then that translated into the SPWLA in the Middle East, and we used to host the luncheons or dinners in Abu Dhabi, and at that point in time I was attending them, and Bob was heavily involved in them as well, and then further on into Bakersfield, where Bob had been running the chapter and had been involved in it before I ended up moving to Bakersfield. Eventually I ended up becoming the chapter president there, and we were a little bit of an island there, and it was always nice to be able to bring folks in. The SPWLA has its Distinguished Speakers program. It was a great resource for a chapter like Bakersfield to be able to bring folks in and be able to have some technical talks that we maybe wouldn't have locally otherwise. But we had a great pool of local resources as well. And then most recently, of course, I've now been working with Bob on the international board and with this symposium. So I've had a range of experiences, and it's been absolutely fantastic to see. I love Bob's energy, obviously, and as Bob mentioned, he's been involved in many different things. The breadth of topics. Goes back to days when we worked together, being able to come in the morning and just bounce ideas off of one another when it comes to technical discussions, and that translates into what we're doing with the SPWLA, trying to keep the societies going, bringing in new technology, incorporating new concepts like accepting AI into what we do, and looking forward and moving onward and upward. So
wow,
it's a huge range.
It's one of the things, you talked about the Bakersfield. It's a good example of a small chapter that exists today. And so we had to change the way we did business, is how did we engage people, And so it's one of the things is, fortunately, we worked for a company that was gracious enough that allowed us to move our meetings in-house. So it saved on cost and everything like that. So California Resources was great. We see a lot of companies in locations doing the same things. And so we get this closer working relationship with the companies just from that type of thing. But then the ability to what we can do with teams today. It's hard to get speakers to a lot of places, but between having ability to do in-house or going through and having someone from France talking at something in Bakersfield with digital technology today. So it really opens the door of what we can do to exchange ideas. And that's probably one of the biggest things over the years, the ideas that get put out here. And some of them, the first time they come out, you look at it and you say, no, that doesn't work, not possible, or whatever. And you look at it and you start looking at it and you get more information, and the whole thing that comes out of it. I mean, you go back and look where we're at today. Where's most of our production? Permian Basin, tight oil, unconventionals and stuff. If we'd have been talking in 2000, we didn't even understand the rock. It's a source, it's not something that's going to produce and drive our energy sustainability. And so it's the exchange of things like this that make it possible. And people then, by sharing that, we keep building on each other and expand the knowledge.
Yeah.
And so you look at it, pick a number, Barnett Shale, 17 years from idea, George Mitchell, to making it work. You look at today, we can go into a new basin, and that cycle is probably 3 years or less.
Jeez. Wow, from discovery wells to drilling, connecting dots.
What we know today on being able to understand that subsurface rock, understand the fluids, how it's going to flow, is you can go through and start making those type of decisions that much earlier. As I said, it's a fascinating industry, and it's only going to get more fun. Andy's comment on where we're going with AI and stuff is one of the other things. I'm happy that the SPWLA, we started a digital initiative in the last year and going out. How do we leverage? If you look at the curated database of formation, evaluation, and core information, the best in the world resides within the SPWLA and the SCA, the Society of Core Analysis, which is one of our chapters. And so how do you make that available so a young person that's coming out of college, they may have done some research or whatever, has the ability to go out there and say, what's all been done on understand permeability in carbonates? It's one of the most difficult things to understand. But if you can pull all that up, condense it, and ask us specific questions, what model works best if I have a limestone dolomite mix? Moves them way ahead, makes them more productive quicker.
Yeah, love that. Interesting. What do you think his stamp on the SPWLA is? I mean, I'm hearing obviously his motive. He's a motivator, right? Bob has paved the road, but he understands that the road's got to keep getting paved. So you got to keep finding the Andy Andersons who are mentored by him that see it, and we just keep going with that. Keep going with this integration. Support ideas. Don't suppress them, right? Because the new ideas are going to allow us to find new things, just like the unconventional play. That's
what I'm excited is, like all societies, our membership goes down. But what's grown the most over the 3 years I've been on the board as VP of Technology through now is our growth in student chapters.
Wow.
We added 4 new ones alone this year.
Man.
And so you go through, I'm excited about like these young people that are here, these early career, mid-career people that have a passion for the business here.
Right.
In the last few months I went and did talks at 3 universities, and it was just fascinating visiting with these kids. One of them was one of them that Andy's responsible, University of Oklahoma. And you get in there and you have a technical discussion. And that's okay, they get into that, but they want to get into where's the industry going? What do I need to be doing to succeed in stuff? And it's like, we'll stay there.
I like that that idea. It's like golfing. Golfers say you got to let the kids golf for free. You want all the kids to come to these golf courses at no charge. We want to give them free lessons because that's the future of golf. You got to invest in that younger generation in order to get the next innovators and right, the growth for the industry. Are you teaching your kids rocks? Huh? You got to.
I teach my kids rocks in a different way, I guess. Each of them have their own interests, but I will forever love the roadside geology books. That's a great way to travel, I tell you.
Oh, man.
Especially if you're going to be road tripping around the U.S.
Yeah.
Have one of those for the area that you're in is fantastic.
I love that.
I've done a couple of things over the years where I've gone to the schools and been able to talk a little bit about some properties of rocks and bringing in some sponges and showing them what porosity might be or what the fluids might move through a rock and what they look like versus what they actually contain as far as properties. But yeah, I think it's great to have a next generation coming up. It takes, I think, energy like folks like Bob have. I mean, I definitely have fed off that in the past and have definitely been a great recipient of it. I am appreciative for it and hope that it keeps going. Like to see all of the energy coming from those student chapters. I mean, it is, and you'll see this in the reports at the business lunches through here, and I'm sure just in talking to folks throughout the symposium that you will be talking to. But I mean, the energy that comes from those, the number of activities that those student chapters put together. They bring in folks from all different disciplines. They bring in software folks. They bring in technical talks. They do a lot of social events. They're just very active, and it's great to see that enthusiasm. And you'll see that even the professional chapters that are affiliated with them seem to feed off that energy as well, and they keep going. And in that, OU is a great example of that, where they interact with the Oklahoma City chapter on a regular basis, and that just brings the entire thing together, because now you have your professionals speaking with your students and being able to tie the industry together, and I think that's definitely
that's one of the things that also has I talked earlier about research being done with universities. The students getting the opportunity to get involved in things that normally would have been done at a research facility, whether it was at a operator or a service company. And so you go through even a lot of the stuff on the energy transition today, understand CO2, how it's going to respond in the formation from a flow behavior perspective, because it has different relative perm characteristics in oil and gas, the reactivity of it. So we need to understand that to be able to go through the regulators from a security perspective that's going to stay where we say we're going to put it. So all this research is being done at the college level. And so it's fascinating. You go through and attend some of their presentations. Yeah. The enthusiasm they bring up, and to go through, sort of had an idea of that, but they're actually out there doing it and being able to prove it or disprove it.
Yeah.
A lot of things they're doing with AI that will end up falling back on things we're doing. They're actually playing and testing and busting things early in that career. So they're going to be able to jump in. And if people like myself, don't pick these things up, see the value of them, adopt them, these young people are just going to pass us by.
Right by.
They're going to blow by.
And that's something. Now, you did the judging of the students.
Yes, I was
yesterday.
Part of the panel on that yesterday.
So, going with this theme, what kind of things really stood out to you? What really impressed you about what you were seeing with the students? Let's take a quick break from the show for a sponsor spotlight.
As an operator, you know that geomechanics play a massive role in the difference between a successful frac and a wasted stage. But are you still relying on uncalibrated models? The energy transition truly means moving from guesswork to precision, from generic outcome to optimized economics. Integrity In Situ delivers the world's most advanced geomechanical data set using their InSight tool, subsurface acquisition platform, and is the first and only company capable of physically measuring stress and strain at differential pressures over 12,000 psi without injecting a drop of fluid in both vertical and horizontal boreholes. Capture real-time physical calibrations for your closure pressure and stress magnitude when you need it and where you need it. Unlock your frac's potential and increase production with less effort. Visit integrityinsitu.com and catch our latest technical deep dive with them on PBE Podcast.
What if your data actually worked for you? Upstream Plus, starting in accounting, built from over 16 years experience solving reporting challenges, reconciling complex oil and gas data, and turning fragmented information into clear, actionable insight. Because in this industry, the problem isn't a lack of data, it's the lack of clarity. Today, Upstream Plus is redefining what an LOS should be. A decision command center for operators, non-operators, mineral and royalty owners to protect assets, save time, improve decisions, and restore accountability down to the well level. Because in oil and gas, clarity isn't a luxury, it's power. Upstream Plus, see your operations clearly, decide with confidence.
Oh, well, there was a lot. One, the depth and the level of the research is amazing. I mean, we're giving students a limited amount of time because you're trying to pick from the best of the best. You already had a screening because each of the student chapters of the independents held their own competitions in order to try to get the best to the top already. And then you bring them together to compete against the best worldwide. And we still ended up trying to pack in, I think it was 17 talks at the end of the day because there were so many good ones out there. And that means that you only have so much time. And the reality is, there is a lot of information. There's a lot of research and work that has gone into the studies that they are doing to be able to summarize in 15 minutes. So what you saw was many students really trying to convey the depth of their research in such a short period of time, working on their presentation skills to be able to summarize that and be able to get that point across. But it was obvious how much work had gone into their research, which was fantastic.
And because of the large group of judges that were there were people that were pretty much experts in anything that was presented.
Wow.
And so no one got a free pass on trying to slide something across that wasn't going to get to the level of technical expertise. And so it was good, even the Q&A of it after each presentation, how they responded to the challenges.
Man, that's such an interesting. I didn't put that together. I've been a part of the IBA. Remember, I was talking about that with the show at the APG. And I'm really listening now, and I'm thinking back, like, yeah, that's exactly why the volunteers that are the judges at these conventions that have these students rising to the occasion of all that stress, get through it all, be a part of this team, try to tell that story concisely, right, and win something and be honored that you did it right. The judges that are in the positions that the kids are trying to do anything to be them, they're actually learning just as much because they're coming at them differently and right, and I love that. That's why the judges are so important, and that's why that's never going to come to an end, because that's the value we get, right? These new students are coming in. I want to be a judge. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear what tools they were using, what softwares, how they were managing the data. Love that.
It's quite amazing. SPWLA is the leanest organization out there.
Jeez.
You probably met our two office staff, our Sharon, and then our membership coordinator, Stephanie. That's our total staff that runs this organization. And so it's built on volunteers.
Yeah.
Everybody that put this together, from the symposium committee, the technical committee, 72 people evaluated the 400 plus papers to get down to the ones that are presented. Yeah. And we all do that because we're passionate about what we can do from understanding the subsurface. Yeah. And today, whether we're called a petrophysicist, a geoscientist, or whatever, it's all about integrating that data and helping our managers make decisions in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
So I said, it constantly amazes me every year you go through. It's like, man, it's like herding cats, but it always comes together, and we get this fantastic symposium. Sharon and Stephanie, they keep us on the road every year. And then all these volunteers we help contribute. All the session chairs we have out here they're not only session chairs, they have to evaluate not only the presentation, but the paper, every paper that's in their session, because at the end we go through then and we pick the best papers. So it's not just presentation skill, now it's the technical papers, and that gets through. The very top one will be recognized tomorrow at the awards banquet.
Oh, nice.
The top 10 to 12, and sometimes it's that close, will be published in a special issue next year of the Petrophysics Journal. So there's another level of credit.
Wow.
And even like your comment, judging yesterday, the quality of some of these is the difference between in and out is like this dang small because of the competition.
Man. Now, what is your position at Halliburton?
So Halliburton, I am the chief geoscientist. And so I work for both our Sperry unit and our wireline unit, so everything formation evaluation. And within that, I have a group of SMEs. And so we cover everything that goes from mud logging all the way out to mature field development. Wow. It's a small team, and all of them are very experienced, and so we can wear multiple hats on working on projects. And so with that, we have two level of clients. We have the internal ones, so we support our business units or regions on specific projects, or we go out, we liaison with clients if they have a challenge, and we can help from a understanding of that and recommendations going forward. Yeah. We help in that aspect.
Man, I'm always fascinated that at the service company, especially at that level, Halliburton, right? You guys have so much equipment and people and jobs coming in, and you need that equipment and the data gathering and the understanding of what we're doing today to be precise and perfect and it's repeatable. But at the same time, you have someone that's thinking, how can we make it better? What's changing?
That's what makes it fun. I mean, I look at it, it's one of the things that has amazed me, is if you go back, there used to be a wireline logging tool that was an ultra-deep resistivity. It was for mapping salt domes in Gulf of America. Okay. So this goes back to the 80s. And you look at it well, we can see it, that's about it, right? And you look at what we do today with ultra-deep azimuthal resistivity. In our case, it's Earth Star. And not only do we look around the hole, and you look based on the resistivity contrast, that may be a couple hundred feet. So imagine I can look up, down, sideways, a couple hundred feet. I can look ahead of the bit. I can stop at faults. And I'm going for a well placement. And so you start looking at chasing thin oil rims.
Right.
Or from a production, I'm doing an offshore well. I don't want to be too low in the oil column because I'm going to pull water in. I want that well positioned perfectly so I get the optimum lifespan out of that.
Yeah.
And so you start looking at being able to place wells today, and I go, this is absolutely fascinating to me that we can do this in real time. And then it falls into the completion side of it. What do I do to the completion so I can minimize long-term interventions?
Yeah.
And so you start looking at, what type of screens do I use? Inflow control devices. And so it used to be all of these were mechanically controlled, either pressure, electrical, or whatever. Today, more of them are autonomous. So if all of a sudden you have water comes in, it chokes it back. So it allows the rest of the zones continue to produce oil without having to go in and do an intervention to shut off water. Or if you got gas break to shut it. So I find it fascinating. Some of the other things is we have lots of old wells around the world. How do you deal with them? And so the whole change of what's gone on in the industry, from whether you want to call it the well integrity and the cased hole evaluation.
Okay.
And so there's formation evaluation, but we also have to worry about cement, casing, particularly if you look at it, if you're going to repurpose a well, you're going to P&A a well. So the industry has moved to things that we can do through tubing. So today we can actually evaluate cement through tubing.
Whoa, so you don't have to pull the pumps and all this stuff.
You have to pull the pump if you want to get below it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a P&A, is you're going through, I need to understand the cement, and if I got to pull the tubing, it's a cost. On land, it's one thing. Put it offshore. Cost goes way up.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the other things that we come out and we can do today, and we go through. It's all about operational efficiency, cost efficiency, because that's what drives our partners, our customers, right? We have to be able to do things profitably if we're going to stay in business. Right. So we go through a whole bunch of things. Digital rock is another thing that I find fascinating.
Wow.
Looking at things on the microscopic scale and understanding how fluid flows through it.
Well, and kind of echoing what Thamar Ramirez out of Oxy, what she was talking about in there, a couple of things stood out to me was the efficiency of drilling and understanding where your fracs are and how we're going to get this production to be better or consistent, right? And hopefully get consistently better over time. What kind of technologies we're investing in that. And then the other thing was understand what you're doing for the company from a financial standpoint.
Exactly.
Right? How are you really moving the profit needle by doing what you're doing or proposing what you're doing. And so that was awesome. And I'm kind of biased because I got Upstream. One of our sponsors is an LOS, AI, LOS accounting software. Yep. And his passion was, look at all these decisions that all your teams are making. Geoscientists, landmen, and engineers are making these decisions and deciding what to spend money on. And then months later, you're seeing a reflection of that decision. But who's keeping track of that? And that's what his software does. So that goes to what she was saying. And then we have integrity in situ. Have you heard of this in situ?
I'm very familiar with Corey.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I'm going to have him on the show. I can't wait to hear.
So it's interesting your comment about unconventional, because as a pure, let's call it a petrophysicist, we get so disappointed that we don't get logs anymore. We have an LWD gamma ray, and you go through. Okay, so we can sort of get an idea if it's in a shale or less shale, that's about it. But is there so much other things that have been done on what we can get out of the drilling information, the vibration,
yeah,
the downhole vibration, the downhole torque, the downhole weight on bit, shearing motion, all these things give us information on the changes in the properties of the rock.
Wow.
And it doesn't sound like much, but it makes a big difference. We've gotten extremely good as an industry on stimulation. And we're pretty good, and I say pretty good, pretty damn good, at going through and monitoring what that's going on at the pumps, the pressure on the wellhead to understand do we need to increase rate, do we need to increase proppant, these type of things to make sure we're effectively stimulating
at the
reservoir.
Yeah, or at the reservoir, yeah.
So we're getting quite good at this. And the part we still have to work on is how do we do more information on closing the loop of what's coming from where, out of each zone. And we can get to that point. The advantage is, let's say we've got a 3-mile lateral and it turns out half a mile is non-productive. You go ahead and do the stimulation, because the completion, the stimulation will cost more than drilling the well, by far. And will we get there? Yes, I do think we will, just because of the accumulating of all this information, being able to put it back to what the production is. And so how do we get more of this information? You look at, there's actually been an increased use of fiber, disposable fiber. It's one of the things we do is
disposable.
Yeah, you're drilling a whole pad, so you have vacant wells that you can use to get information while you're stimulating other zones.
Wow.
Before, you used to have to put fiber on the casing, and that was expensive. The cost went down. It's still expensive. So I can probably do at least 3 wells, maybe 4, with the disposable fiber, what it costs to put 1 permanent in.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden I got this real huge influx of information that I can then go back and say, oh, this is how the reservoir is performing. One of the things that we found, we've had this understanding of stress shadowing and stimulation for years. But we found as we get more of this information, it's actually much more pronounced than we thought it was. It covers a larger area. So now that gets back to then optimizing the order that you frack wells makes a difference.
Wow, yeah, sure.
So that all this stuff, becomes important. Then you're managing the software. Who would have thought the frack pump would have made a difference?
Right.
There's a reason we've went to frack fleets. So everybody has ours. Ours is Zeus system. That's one thing. It's the immediate on and off, the control you have of the rates. That's the impact on the reservoir. But that's not all of it. Then you have to tie it to something else. So then we have another system. We got pressure control right at the wellhead. We're measuring small changes in pressure that's going on, that's responding to the formation. That automatically feeds back to what's going on in the frac unit.
Wow.
And then you put automatic pump down for perforating. I mean, the amount of stages they can get done in a day.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. As I said, the whole industry is dramatically changed on getting all this information and utilized and putting it together.
Man. What would it take for us to get out and watch one of these big fracks with you one day? Sit in the trailer.
So the interesting thing from this service company side, it's not as critical. The thing is, it's because it's a lot of equipment, it's a lot of high pressure. It's making sure, first, approval from an operator.
Yeah.
So it's starting with them and saying, okay, we want to have a show and tell of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then once that's coordinated, then everything else can fall in place. Because when those things are absolutely massive, and we don't want anybody out there that doesn't understand what's going on, just from a safety perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Put me in the truck, Get me a hard hat. I don't want to be close to the valves. I get it. Wow. That's pretty fascinating stuff. It's it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to be a part of this and listen to. Yeah, it's interesting how you're kind of paralleling, and you guys you're in the Middle East together, in Bakersfield together. Like, I was kind of going, whoa, how are you guys tracking? But it's the SPWLA. It's the conventions. It's the societies.
That's right.
That's what keeps us connected.
Ties us together, exactly. Yeah, it's been fantastic. So
nice. Any final thoughts wrapping up the show?
Well, I want to say thank you for coming out and joining our symposium this year. I really do hope that we have an opportunity to reach an entirely new audience and try to share these messages. I mean, I'm sitting here, every time I speak with Bob, I come away energized. I'm learning from you, and I'm feeling the energy from you from doing these podcasts. And I mean, that lifts me up and it wants me to, makes me want to go out there and continue to do, to learn, to continue to engage, and to continue to be a part of the society.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that in bringing this to other folks, that we get to do that with many more people to come as this society continues to go.
We'd be honored to do that. And the passion is likewise seeing all this and hearing all this, and you want to make better wells. You want to do a better job when you get back to the office. You want to apply it a different way. You're thinking about it a different way. Like, these things are uplifting. These events uplift the societies, uplift petrophysics. They uplift what what we're getting out of these shows. And so we're honored to be a part of that. Thank you for your time, Bob.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. Hopefully we can make it an annual event. You'll have to start looking ahead. Next year in France is the perfect place to do this and have a lot of fun.
You think I could chime in on all the meetings that are happening now for France? Because now it's who's doing what, who's getting sponsors, who's doing the technical talks, who's doing this. We got to start.
But it's just like this one is. Once the selection was made, the chapters make a bid.
Oh, wow.
To get selected, and so then the board voted in January. France chapter, they already have a volunteer symposium committee, just like Veronica did here.
Wow.
And so everything's lined up, so they're already on the pathway of lining up sponsors, exhibitors. We are, all these things, because it takes time to get it done.
Yeah, big time.
But we appreciate it, and I echo Andy. This opens more exposure to people. Great is we got a lot of people that are in our business, in our discipline, that don't actively participate in SPWLA, and they're missing out the opportunity to do the networking and having the intellectual interchanges, etc. It's been fascinating for 40 odd years, and I'll keep doing it while I'm having fun.
I love that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you.